Hey everyone, my name is Sydney, and today I'm going to be talking about a heart checkup, a self-evaluation today, because I think as women it's really important to, check your heart and see how you're doing, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually, emotionally. So it's really important to take these times and just really see, how am I doing, checking in with your heart and just seeing, what is coming out of your life recently. Is it good things? Is it bad things? And we have the authority to really figure out what those things are and what's happening in our lives. And today we're going to kind of go through and maybe even a little checklist for our own self, for our own evaluation on what's going on in our lives and in our hearts, so we can better live the life that God has set before us. So today we're going to be in Matthew 12:30-33. So I'm going to be speaking a little into this, and you can follow along with me, and we'll just talk about this and have a girl conversation about self-evaluating our hearts. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start with Matthew 12:34 actually. So in this verse it says, "For the mouth speaks from the overflow of the heart." So what does that mean? So I was kind of studying it and going over it and thinking, whatever I'm saying, whatever is producing out of me is coming from my heart. So whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, what are the things that you feel are really strong about you? What are the things that you feel are kind of things that you really need to work out? Whatever those traits, those characteristics are, it all comes from your heart. So it comes from what you're putting into yourself. So what are you listening to? Are you listening to music that kind of, isn't the best for you, or you feel like it's kind of distracting? Is it a lot of cussing? Is it a lot of stuff that is angered? You know what I mean? So if it's things that are pulling at you, it's gonna go into your heart. That's what you're listening to. That's what you're feeding into yourselves. Are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to, are you going to things that inspire you, things that uplift you? Because when you're surrounding yourselves around things and you're hearing things that are positive, that are light, then you're gonna start being that. You're going to start producing that. It says here in 33, for a tree is known by its fruit, not necessarily by the tree itself, but what it produces. So you're not, you could really take knowledge of this tree. You're that's a really great tree, but you're really that's a great apple from that tree. That apple is so good. So you know what? That apple is so good because the tree was really great. So working on ourselves, and if we're producing positive things into the earth, to people around us, we're being uplifting, we're being inspiring to people, we're being people that uplift others, and that's because whatever is happening in our heart is what we're giving off to other people. So producing those things, what are you listening to? Another thing is, how do you treat others? Be real with yourself here. How do you treat others around you? How do you treat your friends, your family? Those are your friends and family. The closest people to you are typically sometimes the people that you aren't always the sweetest to, because we take them for granted at times. So how do you treat those people? Because whatever is going on in your heart, that's the real authentic version of what's really going on in you. And you can see that by how you're treating others around you. A big thing is your first response in situations. So we're going to take a few different ones. One, let's say you stub your toe. My husband has used this situation before. So say you stub your toe. What's the first thing you're going to say? Really, the really first thing that you're going to say is, are you going to freak out? Are you going to slip? Are you going to, praise God for the healing that's going to come after you stub your toe? So what are those first response of how you act in a situation? Say someone goes off on you and says some hurtful things, and you just want to breathe, take it in, and what do you say? Are you going at them? Are you pulling things that could really hurt them? Or are you just swallowing it, giving it to God, relax, and then, putting love into the situation? It's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. If it's easy, everyone was doing it. But we need to check our own hearts. How are we responding to those situations? In the time of quick situations, quick things that could be really hurtful. Are we acting kindly, or are we kind of taking the beaten road on that? And then a more serious situation. Say you get ill. Someone in your family is ill. You could even say cancer, because I'm sure most people, unfortunately, in their family have someone that is going through something like that. How do you respond? Are you speaking life into the situation? Are you kind of doubtful? Are you negative? Whatever that situation is, when things get hard, that shows our love for God. So if when things get tough, when things get really beaten down, it shows our hearts for the Lord. So if we're questioning Him, if we're getting annoyed or angered, it instantly shows that we're doubting Him a little bit and His plan and His process. And people, I'm telling you, if there's a bad thing that's going on in your life right now, it's not because the Lord sent it to you. He is aware of what's going on because He created everything. He knows this, but we are given a choice to choose life and death, and we are always supposed to choose life. So we ultimately have the choice. So yes, He knows what's going on, but He did not make that happen to you. So we have the authority over our words to choose life in our situations. So no matter what it is, it could be just something mental, like depression, anxiety, or something physical, like a sickness or whatever, but we have that authority to speak life into our situations. So make sure we're speaking life to people around us. If it's a friend or someone or a family member, begin to speak hope, faith, love. Show them that and intoxicate them with that, like fuel it into them so they can start believing it. Your words are powerful because the enemy acts on that. He is able to put thoughts into our head, but he can't hear what we're thinking. But when he hears something negative, he's gonna take it and run with it. You know what I mean? So if you're saying like, I'm not gonna get over this, he takes it and runs with it. If you speak, I'm gonna get over this, he gets a little freaked out because he's like, oh my gosh, like she can't figure this out. He wants us to go down the bad road. So you know what? We're not gonna do that. We're gonna stand tall and we're gonna be on faith and hope and light, and we're gonna go with God. So make sure we know what our first responses are. Focus on that. Whatever it happens, when it's bad, know that God's gonna bring you through it. So your first response to something bad, hope, light, love, faith. Choose Jesus in these situations because that shows what is on your heart and how you feel about the Lord and if you really do trust Him. So think about your situations, think about the past week, the past month, where you've been in that, and check yourself on your own heart, how you've dealt with those situations. That's a great way to see, if you need a reevaluation and things like that for your heart. So make sure your fruit is good, make sure your roots are planted in good soil, and more importantly, just wrapping it back up, what is coming out of your heart? Is it good things? Is it things that need to be worked on? And it's okay if it is. We all have things that we need to work on, but it's important to be aware of those things and knowing what's really going on in our hearts, so we're able to fix it and move forward and use it as a testimony and help people, bring them to Jesus and things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was a great video for you. It was great for me reading. I love doing this study with you guys. If you have any questions, of course, you can comment below and I'll answer, or you can DM me privately on my Instagram and I'll leave that in the description box below. Thanks guys. See you later. God bless.